Samira. I'm MasterChef Season 5 Top 3 finalist. Today we're starting off a new venture, doing a cooking program, and I really hope you all enjoy it so I can proceed to do some more. What I'm going to cook for you today is a spice crusted salmon with a Freekeh salad. Now the reason why I chose this dish is because I find it represents my cooking soul, modern Middle Eastern food. So you've got the traditional Middle Eastern grain with the Freekeh grain, which is a superfood now. And you also have the good old Tassie salmon. I mean, salmon is just amazing when it's cooked right, but the majority of people overcook it or undercook it. So today I'll teach you how to cook the perfect salmon. Right, so we just came back from the Preston market with these beautiful salmon fillets, and I've got all my fresh produce over here. As I said at the markets, it's really important that you have a relationship with your fishmonger or who you get your fruit and veggies from, because you know when those products are coming in and exactly how fresh it is as well. What I have here is the salmon. I have the Freekeh. As you can see with the Freekeh, these grains have been broken on purpose. That's the whole process of getting it ready. And I mean, it doesn't look very appealing, but it's beautiful to eat. It has a very nutty flavour to it. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is toast a tablespoon of cumin seeds and a tablespoon of coriander seeds. So you get your pan, medium heat, not too hot. And you got to make sure you don't burn it as well. So you give it a good 30 seconds on the heat. And that should be done. Now the reason why we're using cumin and coriander seeds is the flavours are just, they're amazing. Very earthy flavours, but the coriander seed is also floury at the same time. And what we're going to do is add a little bit of salt. Now this is a salt that obviously will go onto the salmon, so you don't need to re-season your salmon. And we're going to pound it. Because you've toasted it, it'll get rid of the rawness, and when you pound it, it'll be a lot easier. We don't want it to come down to a fine powder. We just want to bruise them, because as you're eating it, I want the flavours to explode in your mouth. You'll get an explosion of cumin, an explosion of coriander seeds, and it will just be a match made in heaven with the salmon. So you've got to get your arm into it. I think this is where the muscles come in. I basically want it to this sort of a consistency. So just broken up, not fine at all. So that can be put aside. Now, with the salmon itself, the best way to get crispy skin with your salmon is by scoring it. If you don't score it, when you put it in the pan, it's going to curl up. And you don't want that, because then you get the rubbery skin and it won't cook evenly. So make sure you leave it out till it reaches room temperature, and you just put 2 scores. Best way to do that is pinching it up. 1 there and 1 there. That's it, just 2 small ones. Just 1 here and 1 here. And you don't need to cut right through, just the skin. Okay, so I want you to grab a decent amount, and I mean a good amount. Sprinkle it on top. Now make sure you do this on a board, only because all the bits that fall off, you can pick it up. So you're just going to pat that on, just like that. Coat it up really well, because as we said, this is going to burst with flavour in your mouth. So a little bit more over here. And now you just leave it aside for it to reach room temperature. So once it reaches room temperature, the flavours of the coriander and the cumin seeds sort of infused into the salmon. So all over you will get that flavour, but you're going to get more of a crunch on top on the skin, because you not only have the crunchy skin, but you've got the crispy spices as well. So let's put this aside. So now for the Freekeh. Pot, obviously. 1 cup of Freekeh in there. What you're going to do is give it a bit of a rinse. So 2 cups of water, pop it on the stove to come to a boil. Now once that comes to a boil, bring it straight down to a simmer, lid on, and leave it until it all absorbs, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else, other than season it. That's about it. So a teaspoon of salt in there and you're ready to go. Now for the freekeh salad itself, and we're going to start off with cucumbers. Me personally, I like to leave the skin on everything. There's no need to peel the skin unless you're doing some fine dining restaurant. If you're cooking at home, most of the nutrients and the best parts of the fruit and vegetables is through the skin. So we try and keep that on. So just going to slice it. So just finely dice the cucumber. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you kind of get the flow. Okay, so next, I love colour. I think colour needs to be in everything you eat. The prettier it looks, the better it tastes. So we're going to go with yellow chilli. Now you can get the seeds out if you don't like anything too spicy, but I love a bit of a kick, so I won't get all the seeds out. Let's just see how the camera crew go eating this. So one whole one straight in there. Okay. Now next is radish. Radish is one of my favorite vegetables to eat. I mean, please don't get me wrong, it does get the gas going, but just take it easy with it. Now with the radish, I'm just going to finely slice them into round pieces. I don't want everything in the same shape. The one thing I love about the radish is every single one you get, when you cut it, there's different texture to it on the inside. There's a different feel to it. And it does look pretty on the plate. So it not only tastes good, but it looks good. Last one, so 3 radishes, straight in it goes. Now I'm making enough for 3 serves, but my serves are quite large. They are quite filling. Next, red onion. I love red onion. It doesn't have too much of a bite to it, but it does have a little bit of a bite to it as well, if that makes sense. But it adds a beautiful flavour to your dish. And you don't need too much, just thinly slice it. As I said, things are being cut differently, so you get different textures in your mouth as you're eating. Okay, so now, as I said, I love colour. You know, your eye needs to look at the dish and think, oh my God, I want to eat that. Before the flavour's even there, please don't get me wrong, flavour has to be there, and I guarantee you it would. The red capsicum, if you don't have it, you don't have to put it, but I'm only putting it for the colour. Now make sure you get this white bit out because that is quite bitter and you definitely don't want any of that. So first you slice, watch your fingers, and then you dice. Okay. So now what we have in here is the cucumber, the capsicum, the radish, the red onion, and the green pepper as well, which I completely forgot about. So what we're going to grab is a bit of mint. So just the tops of mint. I love my herbs. I love growing my own herbs. I love my children running to the garden to pick the herbs out when they're not meant to be picked. And I just think it's really good to have it. You can make your mint tea out of it. You can add it to your salads. You can eat it on the side of your food. And I'm a bit herb obsessed. And fresh herbs, that is. I don't like dry herbs as much. Okay, so we're just going to get a small bunch of mint. Roll it around and just finely slice it. The reason why you roll the leaves up, as I have, and pinch the tops, is because you can finely julienne it, but instead of getting chunkier pieces. With herbs, what you don't want is to repeat slicing it and chopping over it, is because you bruise the leaves. That's another thing I learned from George himself, from MasterChef. You don't want to bruise the leaves in any way. So finely shred it and take your time, because you don't want to shred your nails or your fingers. I've done that many times in the past. And trust me, it does happen with a sharp knife. Scoop it up. Bang. In it goes. Now we're going to grab some coriander. Now coriander has a very strong flavour. So we're not going to put too much. We want just a little bit of it, because you do have the coriander seeds on the salmon, but fresh coriander does taste different to the seeds. Now just a little bunch. Now as you can see, the stalks are still there. And I am keeping them because that's where most of the flavours are. A lot of people pick the leaves and throw the stalks out. Why would you waste? That's the best part of the coriander. So just a tablespoon of coriander, 2 tablespoons of mint, and pop that straight in. So we're going for the parsley now. Once again, just pick a few. When you grow these at home, the more you pick, even if it's just the tops of them, it's the more they grow. So you actually need to pick your herbs and let them to help them grow. Now we don't want too much, just another tablespoon amount. And once again, yes, I am using the stalks. I don't believe in waste. I hate waste. It's not good for our environment, and it's not good to teach our children to waste things, because there will come a day we will all need to appreciate what we have and use every bit of it. Oh, that's my philosophy on life. Maybe I should just stick to cooking. So once again, finely shred. Okay, and in the bowl it goes. Last but not least, the pomegranate. What is a salad without pomegranate? And it is pomegranate season, so I've got some beautiful ones over here, and we're just going to sprinkle that in. So this would be around half a pomegranate. I'm just going to put half of that in, so a quarter of a pomegranate. Pop the seeds out. This will add bursts of citrus flavour to your dish. You can't go wrong. Right, to serve as a side with this spice crusted salmon and freekeh salad, I want to add a bit of a tahini yogurt. I think because there is so much flavours that you need something to mellow it out and just add that bit of creaminess to it. So what I have here is my tahini paste. Hold, unhold, it doesn't matter. As long as it's a tahini paste, that's all that matters. So around 2 tablespoons of it. What we're going to do is get a lemon, straight in half, give it a squeeze in there. So now with the whisk, very large whisk for this small bowl, but it's what I got now to work with. Just mix it all up. Now if you take a closer look in here, it's actually gone quite thick. Once you mix it all up, it goes quite thick and clumpy. That's what you want. Now what you're going to do to that is add your yogurt. Me personally, I love Greek yogurt. It's so creamy and so thick. You can use any yogurt as long as it's natural, and give that a good mix. Now it is quite lumpy with that tahini paste, but if you keep stirring, it'll all emulsify together and it'll break up, and you eventually get a nice smooth yogurt sauce. Half a teaspoon of salt. You don't want too much. Keep mixing that in. And then taste as you go. That's the best way to do it. So just have a taste and make sure the seasoning is right to your liking. Right, so what we're going to do here now is just a little drizzle of oil, not too much. We're going to bring the pan up to a medium heat. The thing is, you don't want it to be cold because it won't start sizzling that skin. And salmon is quite a fatty fish, so you want to render down that skin as much as you can as well. So salmon fillet, skin side down. And you will just hear that sizzle. Now you don't want the temperature too high, is because what you'll do is you'll shock the salmon. It will cook on the outside and the inside will stay raw. And you don't want the temperature too low, where it'll take too long and it'll stew instead of actually pan fry. So it is a little tricky, but once you start getting that happening, the splat, the sizzling, drop the heat down to a medium heat. Now the tricky thing here is just to make sure you don't burn those spices. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the salmon in, skin side down, for around 3 minutes. We'll start seeing a colour change through here. Once you notice the colour has changed halfway, you'll then flip the salmon over to continue the cooking process. Okay, so while the salmon is cooking, what we've got here is the freekeh. So once that's come up to the boil, absorb the liquid, I personally then put it through a sieve, rinse it under cold water, and just leave it to stand, just to air dry a little, right? Because you don't want it to be gluggy. You do want to get most of the starch off of the freekeh. Now, we got the salad, we got the freekeh, and we pour. Here we go. And now what we're going to do, I personally like to use my hands. Many people don't, but you've got to be as gentle as possible mixing this through. So pull the onions apart and be extremely gentle mixing this through. At the same time, this is where women are just so amazing, because we can multitask. So while mixing this through, we're going to take a look at our salmon, and it's almost there. As you can see, you got the lighter part here. You just got to wait until it comes up to the center, just a little bit more, and then we're going to flip it over. Okay, so that's the salad. The other half of the lemon juice, as I said, nothing goes to waste. Squeeze it straight into the salad. Olive oil, can't go wrong with olive oil. Be generous with the olive oil. It's so good for your skin and for your inner body. I even use it as a hair treatment for my hair. Olive oil is the best. I even use it as moisturizer. So once you got the olive oil in, you add a pinch of salt to that, and then you mix it one more time, and your freekeh salad is ready. So now you got to flip the salmon over. Now don't worry that it's a little bit too dark. That's just the spices there that's dark. So at least you know you got the crispy skin, you got the nice crunchy cumin and coriander, and as I said, don't be afraid that the spices are a little bit dark. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. So what I'm going to do here is I've got a lovely piece of board from Salt and Pepper. I love my products from Salt and Pepper. And I'm going to scatter some of this freekeh salad on there. What we're going to do is now, if you want to zhuzh up a plate a little and make it look a bit master chefy, it's pretty simple. Just pull out single pieces. This is why we sliced. And you place it around just to make it look pretty and delicate. I mean, I always use radishes, so that's a good example of MasterChef. Get some of those seeds just through the top of some colour. Now the salmon's done. So this beautiful crispy salmon skin, or crispy salmon I should say, we'll see it right over here. I'll turn this around so you can take a proper look. Now what we're going to do is get this beautiful tahini yogurt and give it a good drizzle on top. So just a tablespoon amount, and just drizzle that through there, just through the side. Little more bits and pieces to garnish. This meal will be so filling, and it's just I can tell it's going to taste amazing. Mind you, I just came up with it on the spot. Okay, here we go. Right, this is my spice crusted salmon with the freekeh salad. Beautiful dish for summer, beautiful dish to bring your friends around, and now I've hopefully taught you all how to cook it perfect. So I really hope you enjoy, because I know I will.